Hi, we're talking about Bragdon rock moulds. I have two. Last time I was in the States, I took the opportunity just before I went to contact Mr. Bragdon via his website and see if he had any rock moulds that he could send me while I was in the States. Now normally it's quite a few weeks wait, many of them are made to order, but very fortunately for me, these guys were like spares he had, so they were immediately available, so he duly posted them off and here they are. I cannot get these in the UK, or as far as I know. Just to show you the size of them, here's my hand. The first thing you notice is here they're pretty big, so you're looking at doing a large amount of rock work in a relatively small time. So there's that one. I think that one is number 83. And we have this guy, which is even bigger, the size of that, and that's 85. And 85, I have to say, looks like an absolute favourite. It's certainly one of my favourites. It looks amazing. So just to zoom in, if we can see, look at the detail in these things. Now obviously we're looking at this, the mould, we're looking at it backwards. Now I have seen reviews of these and they were very picky. Oh, there's a hole here and there's a hole there and the edges don't look very good. Again, you know, we're talking about end scale here, and also the thing about these rock moulds, if we're using them with plaster, you can cut, shave and fill. It's not, for me it's not a big deal. We're not making Mona Lisa, we're not making a piece of work that's going to be in an art gallery. So what I'm going to do after we look at these is I'm going to construct number 83. I'm going to put plaster cloth on this foam. What I've done with the foam is I've deliberately curved it because I want to see how the moulds take and look on a curved face, which is much more realistic in terms of rock. Yeah, there are flat rock faces, but you often get curved outcrops and promontories like this, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a good look at that. So that will be done. So this is, let's have a first look at this. Is number 83. You can see the brush marks where this has been, you know, made by Mr. Bragdon himself. Really nice. You've got some really nice cavities and crevices there, so we're going to be quite careful how we pull this off. It goes quite deep, as you can see, and just the detail is really nice. Like I say, I'm not too worried about, there's a tiny little hole there, and you know, some people are over sensitive when it comes to these things, but I think this is going to be great. And let's have a quick look at 85, which was the one that really caught my eye. There's a picture of this on Mr. Bragdon's website, finished, and actually I've seen this, I have to say I've seen this guy out in the wild a few times. You can tell because of this little formation here, and this is usually what gives it away. It's like the cubes. So this, I mean, this looks absolutely amazing. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what this does, plus the fact that it could save you a hell of a lot of time in terms of carving and putting rocks on. Again, for end scale, this is a huge area, which is great. But these work for HO as well. In fact, probably work for, if you want to do it, it probably work for O scale. It's big enough, but for end scale, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck here. And in terms of the rock shape and size, it doesn't really matter, I don't think. But yeah, that's how you tell 85 sees this shape there. I'm very much looking forward to trying these. And also another thing is that they are, you know, it's latex, they're very strong, they're durable, so hopefully they'll last. So we're going to take, what we're going to do, we'll take this guy, we'll spray it with the wonderful release agent, which is the dish soap, a few drops of dish soap in water. It's latex, so there's certain things you can't use, but that should be fine. And then we're gonna put most of it. It mostly fits onto this, and basically use plaster, just simple plaster of Paris, and see what we get. Right, let's give it a go. Okay, the plaster cloth is now wet and applied to the foam. We're going to wait for that to dry and we'll be right back. Okay, we're going to spray the mould with the homemade release agent. Make sure there's a good covering. Right, the plaster is mixed. It's time to start pouring it into the mould. Okay, the mould is now placed on the plaster cloth. I've placed it upside down. We'll see what happens. Now all we need to do is wait. Okay, so the plaster should have dried. It's time for the reveal. I'll try very carefully. Peel this off and see what we get. Well, some bits of plaster did stay in the cast, but actually it's not bad at all. Some pretty awesome detail, a bit came off there. It took to the curve okay. Some pretty good detail. I think to see how it really looks, what we need to do is dry brush it and wet wash it. Let's see what it comes out like. There's a little hole there. A hole there. It's a hole there. But you know what? On the whole, my first attempt, given that it didn't release brilliantly, it did release okay, which you can see there, but not brilliantly there. It's actually not bad at all. It did go around the curve, as I said. Yeah, let's apply a black wash to this, let that dry, and then dry brush it with maybe some brown and really see what we've got. Great. So you can spot the obvious mistake and very amateurish mistake I made with this. I didn't wet the plaster before I put the black wash on, so the plaster has actually absorbed quite a large amount of the black wash. That's absolutely fine. This is just a test piece, really, to test the texture and the result rather than the painting. However, I have also filled in some holes, and I'll tell you what has made the holes. When I put the plaster in the mould, which is this guy here, I think you really need to push the plaster in to some of these crevices, and as a result, if you don't, you'll get very weak pieces of plaster. So when I pulled the mould off, even though I was relatively careful, like this bit got me stuck because these latched on, these bits of latex, I'm going to cut these off, these latched on, and I was had difficulty pulling it off. So what you're left with are little cracks. It's quite hard to see, but where I filled in is you get little like shell-like cracks. So you've got a shell-like bit there, and then there's nothing behind it. So that's obviously just my fault, and that's the way I should. And that's modified the way I will use these molds. We will try a different method when we use the next one. But for now, the black wash is on. Now we're going to start with some dry brushing and see what we get. Okay, I'll put some light tan on just for a bit of contrast. Now we're going to very gently dry brush, and you will immediately see the contrast come up. Now if dry brushing is done correctly, it should take quite a long time. So I will get on with this and we'll be right back. Okay, after the first dry brushing, you can really see the detail coming out. Now bear in mind, that was where a bit broke off at the bottom there. That's my own fault, but these things do happen sometimes. But yeah, you can really see this coming along. I can see all the detail. Just move it into the light. I mean, that's very impressive. For a test run with lots of mistakes, it's pretty impressive. It's a very nice mould. Lots and lots of detail. That's better, you can see the colours there. Lots of detail. Okay, after the second dry brushing we get this. To be honest, I think this is pretty impressive. Next we're going to look at the bigger Bragdon rock mould. We're going to use that. We're going to use that on a flat piece of plaster cloth and foam and see how it comes out. Okay, this time I've covered the plaster cloth in a thin layer of plaster to see if it makes any difference before I apply the mould. Okay, now as before, we generously spray the mould with the mixture of dish soap and water to release as a release agent. And this time we're really working the plaster in. Okay, it's been a while in the sun, should be fully dry. I only use plaster for more or less the middle bit of this, as this is again, it's a bit of a demo. It should be easier to peel this time, so let's have a look. Very gently this time. Ooh, little flecks coming off. Like the dish soap water mix has pretty much done its job, as I can't see very much sticking to the mould itself, which is great. Oh, bit just came off there just as I said that. About half of it off, I think. I'm just thinking, you know, compare it to a woodland scenics mould where it's basically you just peel it off and forget about it. This is a bit more involved. Okay, that's it. I think not a lot stuck to the inside of the mould, which is excellent. The old dish soap did do its job. That's really nice. Oh, now look at that bit broke off. That's annoying actually, but we can fix it. Look at the detail on that. That's really. Oh, those are the little 3 blocks in the middle. Look at the detail and the relief on that. Really nice. I am going to, do you know, actually Mr. Bragdon on his site, I'm trying to think if he has it this way round or the other way round. I've got a feeling it's the other way round. Let's turn it the other way. Yeah, I think he's got it this way round on the picture on his site. So yeah, really nice detail. What I'm going to do now, same process as before. Give it a, this time I'm going to wet it before I apply a black wash, and we'll let that dry and see what we can do. First we're going to spray some water on it so the colour doesn't get sucked into the plaster. That's lovely and wet. Now we're going to give this a spraying a black wash from this mini sprayer, and we'll see what it comes out like. Oh yeah, that's totally different from the first rock. It's not getting sucked in by the plaster. The idea is that with the black wash it just goes into the cracks and crevices to give a highlight. Added some faint sort of iron rich red colours just to see how it comes out, and now I'm going to dry brush with titanium buff, basically a very light yellow. Well, the dry brushing took a while, and that's definitely toned down the reds, so you've got a very nice desert sort of colour rock. I really like it. This from this mould. Obviously I didn't do the whole mould on the thing, and I've got the same problems I had before because I must have missed somewhere where I should have pushed the plaster in more, which is obviously you have to be more careful when using these, but on the whole absolutely fantastic, to be honest. The relief on it is absolutely brilliant. The detailing is just fantastic. Extremely good products. And just to bring the other rock back so you can see it, here's a sort of more grey one, granite type colour. Absolutely fantastic. Would I recommend Bragdon moulds? 100%, yeah. You do have to be quite careful in how you use them. They're not foolproof. Like the Woodland Scenic moulds are almost foolproof, but you know what? If you can get hold of these, absolutely get them. They are really good. Hope you enjoy that. Thanks for watching.